Two tourists went for a short afternoon hike in Panama. They took photos along the trail, they smiled for the camera, and then they vanished. What happened next became one of the most disturbing disappearance cases of the modern era, because for days after they disappeared, someone kept trying to use their phones. Emergency calls, failed PIN attempts, repeated checks for signal in the middle of the jungle. Then over a week later, the photos started. Dozens of images taken in complete darkness. Rain, plastic bags, branches, the back of a woman's head. Almost nothing else. No explanation, no message, no goodbye. Just evidence that somehow they were still alive deep in the Panamanian jungle long after anyone realized they were missing. To keep up with our weekly investigations, make sure you're subscribed to Unanswered Evidence with notifications on. In April 2014, Dutch students Kris Kremers and Lisanne Froon arrived in Boquete, Panama. Kris was 21. Lisanne was 22. Smart, responsible, experienced travelers. On April 1st, they left for a hike along the Pianista Trail, a route locals described as manageable, popular with tourists, not especially dangerous. They carried a small backpack, a camera, 2 phones, water. At first, everything seemed normal. The girls took cheerful daytime photos while climbing the trail. The final daylight image showed Kris standing near the Continental Divide. Beyond that point, the trail becomes isolated, steep, and difficult to navigate. After that photo, something changed. Later that afternoon, emergency calls began, first to 112, then 911. Neither call connected. Over the next several days, the phones were repeatedly turned on and off, apparently in attempts to find signal or preserve battery life. Then came one of the strangest details in the entire case. On April 6th, 5 days after the disappearance, someone entered the wrong PIN into Kris's phone multiple times. After that, the correct PIN was never entered again. Who was using the phone? And why couldn't they unlock it? 10 weeks later, a local woman discovered the girl's backpack near a remote riverbank. Inside, investigators found their phones, their camera, their passports, their money, all of it dry, organized, untouched. Then police examined the camera. What they found only deepened the mystery. More than 90 nighttime photos taken over several hours in near total darkness. Some showed rocks, jungle terrain, plastic bags tied to branches, possible markers, possible signals. One image showed the back of Kris's head illuminated by flash. Neither woman appeared clearly in the photographs. No attackers, no obvious injuries, no explanation. Months later, partial human remains were recovered in the jungle. Some belonged to Kris, some to Lisanne. No definitive cause of death was ever determined. Panamanian authorities concluded the women likely became lost and died from exposure. But critics point to unanswered questions. Why were the belongings so clean? Why did the phone activity continue for days? Who took the nighttime photographs? And what happened after the last daylight image on the trail? More than a decade later, nobody knows exactly how 2 young women disappeared into the jungle, and why the evidence they left behind only made the mystery harder to explain. Their families are still asking, still waiting, still without answers. 2 women, 90 photos taken in total darkness, and not a single answer. Subscribe to Unanswered Evidence and make sure you have the notifications on. New cases weekly.